Well, good morning throttlers and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm up here on the beautiful northern beaches of Sydney, in particular heading from Bayview to Church Point up to Akuna Bay and West Head. And today we're rolling in the Volkswagen T-Roc R-Line, which is a fantastic little SUV package, which is luxurious, it's sporty and it's practical. But first things first, so let's grab a coffee and have a look at the beautiful scenery here, and then we'll jump in the car, head up into Akuna Bay, and I'll tell you all about it. What a beautiful place. I grew up around here, not far from here in Mona Vale, and Church Point has always been one of my favourite places. And Scotland Island just over there, sorry my hands are full. A lot of my mates lived over there on Scotland Island. Beautiful spot. Well, coffee's been had and I feel a lot better now. There's caffeine pumping through my veins and it makes me a much happier man. Anyway, we're up here in the Ku-ring-gai Chase National Park. I'm going to head out to West Head, show you some beautiful scenery and a lovely road on the way out to West Head. Then we'll go down to Akuna Bay and we're going to talk more about the T-Roc R-Line, because this is a car that is suitable for almost everyone. It's such an amazing, let's say it's I'd say it's a pocket rocket from an SUV point of view. It packs a punch in a small little package. So we'll talk about it soon, but let's go out to West Head and have a look. So let's talk about the model range for the T-Rocs. Now the entry level in the T-Roc range is the TSI 110. So that's 110 kilowatts. That's 250 Newton meters of torque. Stepping up into this one that I've got today, this is the R-Line. So this is the sporty version with all the luxury interior. We'll talk about that shortly. But this is the 140 TSI, so 140 kilowatts, 320 Newton meters of torque. And that is more than enough. Now there is a jump up into the R model, and I'm not 100% sure if the R models are available in Australia here yet, but within the R range, it's a 221 kilowatts, 400 Newton meters of torque. Now that's a slightly detuned Golf R sort of power. Now obviously being an SUV, you don't want that intensity that a Golf R can produce, but in an SUV, more than enough. I believe the R-Line is actually more than enough in this. The 320 Newton meters of torque is plenty of power to have a whole lot of fun in this car. Now running through some of the other specs, this is a 4motion, which means it's an intelligent all-wheel drive system. Again, gives you performance, it gives you stability on road, whether you're in the wet or the snow, whatever it might be. And the Volkswagen 4motion technology is absolutely amazing. Then moving into the interior, it's absolutely beautiful in this cabin. Nappa leather seats all round. This steering wheel is a nice sports steering wheel. What I like about it is where your hands are placed, it's nice and thick. It's not a skinny little steering wheel. It's got substance. Obviously where your thumbs go, there is a notch there on the steering wheel. Gives you some traction, gives you a sense of knowing where your hands are located. But on this wheel, again, I haven't noticed it before on another car, when you come down the outside, just below, let's say like the, what are we doing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The 4 and the 8 location, there is another little notch on the outside of the steering wheel for the heels of your palm to sit on, so you know without looking at the wheel exactly where your hands are placed at all times. Having the notches on the outside and the inside of the wheels reminds your hands where they need to be placed to be able to access these paddle shifters. So I think that's really spot on. Now, with fuel being so expensive right around the world at the moment, and most definitely here in Australia, a common question I get asked is about fuel economy, and it's something that I'm getting asked more now than ever. So the combined fuel economy for this car is 7.3 litres per 100 kilometres. So bear in mind, this is an SUV, it's a family car, it's a bigger car than say a Golf or a Polo, but the fuel economy is absolutely spot on. Combine that with the fact that you can switch it into manual, sports mode, and bang, it will always be an SUV, but it's a very, very fun SUV indeed. And with Volkswagen offering a 5-year unlimited kilometre warranty on these things, you know, it's a no-brainer. Okay, let me show you something really cool. And once we've done that, we'll head down to Akuna Bay. We'll do a walk around on the T-Roc and give you a closer look at it. And I'll give you my final thoughts about it. It's a great little SUV. Anyway, I haven't been here for years, so let's have a look at this. Now, if you're from Sydney, you've probably been here yourself. If you're not from Sydney, check this out. Now, for those of you that are watching from around the country, and also in particular the UK, if you are a fan of home and away, that is Summer Bay over there. It's actually Palm Beach, a suburb in Sydney, but you can see the Barrenjoey Lighthouse there. Palm Beach, the beach side on Pittwater, and there's also a beach side on the ocean side on the other side of that peninsula. But that's Summer Bay. Stone the Crows, Alf. And for those of you that are fans of Harley Throttle Juice, Roger and Rochelle, those wonderful couple, well, they live just over here. That island in the middle of the bay there, that's called Lion Island. And just beyond that is a beach called Umina that leads onto the Central Coast. And those two legends live just up that way somewhere. So this is an absolutely beautiful part of the world. Anyway, this video is about a Volkswagen T-Roc and not Sydney's beauty. So let's jump back in the car and continue on. Okay, I guess we should talk about usability on the way to Akuna Bay. If you wanted an all-out sports vehicle from the Volkswagen range, you've got the Golf R, you've got the Golf GTI and the Polo GTI. These are more sporty than the T-Roc R-Line, but this is also an SUV, so you're sitting higher in traffic. It's more suitable for the urban environment, and it's more suitable for families trying to get kids and babies in and out of the back seat. That vehicle height makes a massive difference. To have that practicality with the sportiness of what this offers, you can have almost as much fun as a GTI or an R Golf in this car and have the Monday to Friday practicality of it as well. So all you have to do is to pop this into sports, switch the gear shift over into manual, start using these paddle shifters, and I don't know if it'll come up in the microphone, but this is an absolute little weapon. 320 Newton meters of torque. Whew. It's more than quick enough. It's not that high that when you tuck into a corner, that it doesn't have body roll like you'd expect from an SUV. It sits relatively flat. Not as flat as a Golf, but still pretty flat nonetheless. And you can have a whole heap of fun in one of these and still keep the family happy during the week. Anyway, Akuna Bay, here we come. We'll jump out, we'll have a walk around, and I'll show you more of the car. Okay, we're down here at the beautiful Akuna Bay now, and there is endless amounts of money wrapped up in those boats out there. Such a beautiful location, but we're about the T-Roc today, so let's have a bit of a walk around. So again, this T-Roc is the R-Line, which is the middle of the range. This is 140 TSI, 320 Newton meters of torque. The way I look at this car, it's just like most Volkswagens, it's understated elegance and it packs a punch. And unless you're a Volkswagen connoisseur, you might say, you won't realise how potent these little SUVs are. Another nice R badge in the grille as well. IQ LED lights, beautiful lights. Just such a beautiful, beautiful looking car. We had a bit of rain last night, so it's a little bit dirty. We actually had hail and I was worried that it was going to get damaged, but it didn't get damaged, which is I'm very grateful for that, and I'm sure that Sutherland Volkswagen are grateful for that as well. Beautiful tail lights. I just love these LED tail lights. It looks really nice. Again, 4motion all-wheel drive, Volkswagen's all-wheel drive system, and the T-Roc. So let's take a look inside as well, just so you are aware of what it looks like inside. Now the boot, honestly, the boot's not that big. Having a look here, it's big enough. Of course it's big enough. You've got my camera bag and my Ozar bag, which carries all my tripods and sticky mounts. But there's not a massive amount of space in there. But you sit of golf clubs in there. You could get, you know, a kid's bike in there probably. Coming into the back seat, you can see the beautiful Napa leather. This is really comfy and it's such a good stylish sort of seat. Now you can see the front seat's set up for me at 5'10". There is enough room for an adult in there, but mainly it'd probably be kids back here and adults for short trips. You can see that there's also aircon vents in the back for the passengers, and also 2 USB-Cs just for charging only. All right, have a look in the cockpit as well. As you can see, Napa leather, of course, just like the back. Electric controls with 3 pre-settings there available. All electric controls for your seats. Whew. Let's get in here and close the door because it's so windy and cold today. Very unexpected. It's supposed to be spring and coming towards summer. Anyway, let's have a look at the cockpit. Now, looking at the steering wheel of the T-Roc, as you can see, it's one of the modern Volkswagen steering wheels with all of the touch controls on it. Now, what Volkswagen have done, they've listened to their ownerships, and rather than just having this, I think it's called haptic touch, you can actually physically touch the button as well as being able to slide across. So that's a big bonus, because that was a complaint that many people had. Talking about the steering wheel, as I mentioned in the drive, there's a nice notch here where your thumb sits, so you know exactly where you are. But on the outside of the wheel, there's another notch here. So you can actually know from the heel of your palm and your thumb exactly where your hands need to be able to activate the paddle shifters to change your gears when you're in the manual mode. Of course, a nice digital dash that all of these modern Volkswagens have. It's very, very clear in daylight as well as nighttime. Beautiful way to go. And coming over to the center, a nice big screen where you can access all of the stuff that you need to access in here. Nav, media, radio, whatever it might be, it's all through here. Coming down, this is the most important switch in all modern cars. This is turning off the auto stop, which drives me nuts when you stop at a set of traffic lights and the car stops. I just hate that. I know it's a personal thing and I know that they're doing it for emissions and all that sort of stuff, but it annoys me. So the first thing I do when I start the car is press that, and the car won't stop at a set of lights like it's supposed to. And obviously all of your climate control here, again with that haptic touch, I think that's what it's called. It's probably not, and you'll tell me in the comments, no doubt at all. Charging, wireless charging in there for your mobile phones, start, stop. We've still got a 12-volt cigarette outlet, and we've got 2 USB-Cs in here as well. Mode controls just behind the gear lever, and your electric park brake, and most importantly, your caffeine fix and your auto hold here as well. Okay, so I've got to jump out, take some photos of this beautiful little car, and then we'll jump back in and I'll give you the final wrap up. Okay, so to wrap it up, who do I think this car is for? Well, I think it goes without saying. It's an amazing family car. It's an urban SUV. It's something where you're sitting higher than a lot of the traffic, so you can see absolutely everything. There's enough space in here for a 2 adults, 2 to 3 kid family without problems. It's sporty enough to pop it into manual mode and have an absolute ball on these twisty roads and still have a smile on your face. The all-wheel drive makes it so practical. What are the negatives, if any, in this car, in my opinion? Well, if this was a family car for a family of 2 adults and 2 to 3 kids, the boot is pretty small for that. In that case, I would suggest that you probably jump up into the Tiguan. And in fact, the Tiguan's got an out-and-out R model now, which is red hot racing, and I can't wait to get in the Tiguan R because that would be absolutely phenomenal. But this is the baby brother of the Tiguan and the big brother of the Golf. That's the way I see it, and it's a perfect middle ground for most people. So as always, this vehicle was supplied by Sutherland Volkswagen. In doing so, if you happen to have any Volkswagen needs and you're on the east coast of Australia, and in particular in Sydney, contact Sutherland Volkswagen. The website's down below, linked in the description, and make sure that if you end up purchasing a vehicle from Sutherland Volkswagen up until the end of the 22-23 financial year, make sure you mention Throttle Down Under, and they'll give you 2 years of free servicing as a gift for being one of my friends and for going to Sutherland Volkswagen to purchase your vehicle. Anyway guys, as always, throttle on, stay safe, and I'll see you on the next video.